You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look me better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the 7th part of What If Naruto Enters Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of KFB Anime 87 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. 18th Street Subway. Naruto, a shrunken-down devil dinosaur, Deadpool, Rogue, Mystique, and Wanda met up in the abandoned subway station with Naruto taking the lead to the MRD base to pinpoint it with observation hockey. We're close. I'm seeing a lot of signatures. Looks to be at least 500 soldiers. 800 prisoners and one strong individual, Naruto said. Only 500? Couldn't you just take them out yourself with your conqueror's hockey? Wanda asked. Too risky, as I may hit the prisoners if I'm not careful. Besides, you guys are here and I'd hate to take away all the fun from you, Naruto said with a grin. Looks like they have battle armor too, Whiskers, Deadpool said as he used some X-ray binoculars to scope the place. Must have been from Sable International's leftovers, Rogue said with a frown. Of course they'd take some of the tech left behind after they were kicked out, Mystique scowled. Don't worry, we have an answer for that, don't we, boy? Naruto asked Devil Dinosaur, who smiled as he looked down at the new metal vest he was wearing, which had the symbol of Yamatora village on it. That size-changing vest is a cool idea. Say, can I get one of those? I want to see if it affects my dash, Wade was asking before he was cut off. I swear if you ask for size changing for your PP I will red hawk you, Naruto warned the merc. No, it's for my TSTCLS, Wade said waving his hand. And I'm now deaf, Wanda muttered with a shudder. So what's the plan here? Rogue asked. Leave Taskmaster to me. Everything else though, I think Mystique should call it as it's her operation, Naruto said, gesturing to the blue-skinned bombshell. Thank you. Priority is getting the prisoners out. Deadpool, Wanda, and Devil Dinosaur should handle the guards easily enough. Anna, I need you to free the prisoners, Mystique said. Isn't that more your area? Rogue asked, ignoring her real name being used for now. Normally yes, but I need to take the jamming signal offline so this base can be found later as solid proof against the MRD. You however have new power outside of your mutant gift. You can easily break the cells holding them as well as their cuffs. Mystique said firmly. I can also give you a boost if you want, Naruto said, holding up his arm to her. Oh, go Gear 5 and Nika her up like Bonnie. Deadpool yelled excitedly. Who? Naruto asked, confused. What? Wade asked with a head tilt. Ignore him. Thanks Suga, Rogue said, smirking as she gave his arm a touch to get some of his power. You all have your assignments. Now let's go, Mystique ordered as they came to the hidden base. Immediately Wanda, Wade, and Devil Dinosaur rushed into the base. Hexes were thrown, grenades launched, Devil stomped through the base attacking soldiers and drawing fire. Shortly afterwards Rogue, Mystique, and Naruto ran in as the focus was on the others by the armed soldiers. Focus on the dinosaur. A man in a skull mask with a white hood and cape ordered, holding a sword. Devil Dinosaur roared at this as his skin turned into diamond and what looked like giant blasters came out of the side of his vest before he opened fire at the soldiers. Gotta thank Sarutobi for that one, Naruto said with a grin as he watched his pet lay into the soldiers. Immediately afterwards however he found himself wrapped up in a cable and dragged towards the man in the skull mask. Joy boy. Wasn't expecting you of all people to find us. I expected Spider-Man to be honest over you, the man said holding his sword. Taskmaster, I take it. I heard Spidey hooped your ass while I was away on business. You couldn't beat him and think you can beat me? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. You're just some fool with RBB powers, this won't be hard, Taskmaster said with a hard tone. Oh, looks like someone wasn't paying attention during Devil's Breath. I'm guessing you were nursing your wounds, huh? Well, let me clue you in on something then. You missed some new research, Naruto said as he started to laugh. Oh, you have really F up now, Anthony. Deadpool yelled as he shot a soldier in the PP. Why should I fear him? Taskmaster was asking before Naruto stretched and coiled himself around, slithering out of his binding like a snake as his hair and clothes turned white. Smoke billowing off of Naruto as he laughed like a lunatic. You were saying? Naruto asked with a grin. A costume change means nothing to me, boy. My blade will cut you down along with my knowledge on every fighting style you heroes use, Taskmaster said unintimidated as he switched into a stance similar to Captain America. Oh, a copycat hisses. Naruto said as he made a cat face at Taskmaster complete with large whiskers. What the dash? Taskmaster was asking confused before Naruto vanished suddenly and appeared in front of Taskmaster slamming his fist into the mercenary's stomach. Bong! Which sent the mercenary flying followed by bouncing off the ceiling back down to the floor. Which the merc bounced off of and hit the wall. Which the merc bounced off of again and effectively became a human pinball. Bouncing back and forth between the walls, floor, and ceiling. Over and over and over again as he was bounced around the MRD black site. Gahahaha. Naruto laughed as he bounced on the floor before Taskmaster stopped bouncing as he crashed into a soldier to stop his momentum fully. This wasn't in your file, Taskmaster grunted out as he slowly stood up holding his blade. It's a recent change, Skeletor. I have the power. Naruto yelled before laughing some more. I won't be mocked by some laughing girl. Taskmaster was saying before Naruto appeared in front of him again and kicked him into one of the small buildings. This just doesn't seem fair, Rouge said with a grin as the soldiers were going down quickly thanks to her, Devil Dinosaur, and Naruto. I know, right? Where's the challenge? Naruto asked laughing. Arrogant little dash, Taskmaster was saying before he looked around at the chaos and saw Rogue with her back turned to him as she freed a group of mutants. Had enough? 'Cause you can't hurt me, dude, so surrender, Naruto said with a grin. You're right. I can't hurt you, can I? So I'll hurt someone else. Taskmaster yelled as he threw his sword like a boomerang at Rogue. Oh no, you don't. Naruto yelled as he sent his arm at Rouge and grabbed her without warning before pulling her towards him. Hey! I'm not using hockey whiskers, watch where you hee ha 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 ha. Rogue was saying before she started to laugh uncontrollably as her hair started to turn fully white. Naruto yelled, his eyes bugging out of his head at this. Rogue? Mystique asked wide-eyed, seeing this from her adopted daughter. Unfortunately for her, she was distracted by this turn of events and didn't see the sword thrown by Taskmaster on a collision course with her. The blade impaling her in the stomach and making her cough up BLD. Well, not who I was aiming for, but I suppose that will do, Taskmaster said with a shrug. You're dead. Rouge yelled as her white form turned red as she shot at Taskmaster as she spun her fist behind her like a whirlwind. Taskmaster seeing this leapt away from her only for a blast from Wanda to send him back down to the ground. You're gonna regret hurting Mystique, Wanda glared with her eyes glowing red. You act like I should care for that pathetic tramp, Taskmaster said, still not grasping the situation he was in. Or perhaps his pride refused to let him admit defeat. Immediately as the words left his mouth, Naruto's giant hands wrapped around the mercenary and crushed him in between his grip. Do all mercs only know how to insert their foots in their mouths? Naruto asked grinning. Hold him still, Suga, I'm gonna enjoy this, Rouge said with a mad grin as she approached while cracking her knuckles. Knock em dead, Cece. Naruto said with a cackle as Rogue took a boxer stance before letting loose a flurry of punches at Taskmaster, making his head rock back and forth as she used him like a punching bag. cracking his skull mask as she landed blow after blow on him. Had enough? Rogue asked, grinning at the beaten and battered merc who now had a broken mask, a swollen eye, and a broken nose. Taskmaster groaned out, barely conscious and most likely not even sure where he was in that moment. Good. Okay, you can throw him, Rogue said, laughing. I love my job. Naruto laughed as he threw Taskmaster across the camp and sending him into an emptied prison detainment area, destroying it entirely. Well, that was fun, Wade said as he came over swinging around a RBB chicken like a pair of nunchucks. How's the blue chick doing with the stab wound? He asked. I'm fine. Thankfully I have a little bit of a healing factor, not as good as Logan's, but a flesh wound like this is nothing, Mystique said as she slowly stood up and ripped the sword out of her stomach before kneeling for the effort. SHT, let's get you to a doctor, Naruto said as he and Rogue both came out of their Gear 5 states. What a rush, I feel like I could take out a buffet, Rouge groaned as she fell out of her new form. Yeah, that's normal for that form. Let's head to Avengers Mansion so we can get Mystique checked out and we can eat, Naruto said before looking at Wanda. You wanna come with us? He asked. No, I should help the mutants imprisoned here escape this place. Thank you for the help, Joy Boy. That's fine, but if you need help let me know. Offers available anytime, Naruto said with a smile as he helped Mystique up to her feet. I will consider your offer. You have proven yourself a true ally to mutants this day. And I will never forget that, Wanda said with a smile before in a sudden act she kissed his cheek before leaving. Did Magneto's daughter just kiss you or did I hallucinate that? Rogue asked, not even jealous, just confused at what occurred. Naruto said with wide eyes and a nod. And another one for the HRM later on. You should go next, Blue Babe. I'm sure Joy Boy here wouldn't mind a little tongue, Wade said with a snicker. Oh, shut up you idiot, let's get out of here before the authorities try to arrest us, Mystique said with a grunt as she still had a stab wound. Yeah, let's go, Naruto said with a nod as he dragged Mystique and Rogue to the mansion. Later at the Avengers Mansion. As Mystique was being checked over by Hank and Tony at the mansion per Naruto's request, the rest of the team was watching a news broadcast. And in local news, police discovered an MRD black site camp for mutant detainment underneath New York City thanks to the efforts of several heroes. Most notably Joy Boy, a reporter stated as in the background Taskmaster was shown being cuffed and carted away. Good job, now we are gonna have Kelly on our back, Hank said with an annoyed look at Naruto. I thought you liked him. What was it you called him when I met you? Innocent? Naruto asked sarcastically. There are better ways to deal with this other than attacking Dash, Hank was saying before he saw Naruto asleep. Zzzzzzzzzzz huh? You say something? Naruto asked after pretending to be asleep, making Janet giggle. While I can't say I blame you, do you think it was a wise idea to interfere given your status, son? Steve asked. Let me answer that question with one of my own. In World War II, when you found out what the Nazis were doing to Jews, did you stop to think of the political ramifications of your actions? Naruto asked. Fair point, son, Steve said as he nodded at Naruto, seeing his very good point. We now go live to Senator Kelly for his input in this developing story, the reporter said. This is an attack on our right to protect our citizens. Kelly was seen yelling on the TV, these mutant menaces must be detained so they cannot harm us all. The MRD may have created a black site, but it's not as if they were executing them. Kelly yelled from his podium. I see. And how do you explain the recent leaks of all your activities, including but not limited to funding the black site and funding something called a Sentinel program for a Dr. Bolivar Trask? A reporter asked, holding their microphone to the senator. Where did you get these baseless accusations? Kelly yelled out in a rage. Reports are coming from the intelligence division of Egghead Island of Yamatora Village. Every news outlet in the world has been sent dossiers, video evidence, and other evidence connecting you to these operations. The reporter said as Kelly's eyes widened at this. Holy SHT, Janet said wide-eyed at this report. Looks like Ka-san dug up some skeletons in his closet, Naruto said smirking. Forget the closet, it's a whole graveyard, Clint said wide-eyed at this info as Kelly was swarmed by the reporters now for comment before he hightailed it out of there. Mr. Joy Boy, you have a visitor waiting to see you. A Mrs. Aurora Monroe, Jarvis said. Storm. She's probably gonna chew me out, Rogue muttered with a groan. No, she won't. If anything, I dragged you along against your will, Naruto said with a smirk as he'd take the blame for her. The second you want to have some fun with him, let me know, Rogue whispered to Janet, who blushed at the forward statement. Aurora strolled into the mansion with a firm look on her face as she walked towards Naruto and Rogue. May we please have some privacy? Aurora asked everyone else. Don't mind us, this is gonna be good, Hulk said smirking as he ate some popcorn. Come along, friend Hulk. We should spar and see which of us is the stronger warrior, Thor said as he dragged the Hulk away as everyone else left, leaving the prince alone with the two mutants. Do you two understand the severity of what you have caused? Aurora asked with a firm tone. I have an idea, and quite frankly I don't care. Kelly is some and deserves whatever happens to him. And I'd rather die 1,000 times before letting others suffer. You're a mutant as well. You shouldn't be angry with me for helping them. You should be angry at the government for allowing this to happen, Naruto said with a firm tone. That must have hit a nerve for Aurora as lightning and thunder suddenly boomed outside. I am angry. Aurora yelled, her eyes going fully white. I want nothing more than to tear that fool apart for every horrendous torture he put our kind through. But if I did that, then every mutant would pay the price. We can't bring out a war that destroys the world, Aurora said with a frown as her emotions calmed. Won't be much of a war with all of Yamatora backing me. I'm not like Magneto. I don't seek supremacy. I seek freedom for everyone. Humans, mutants, and aliens even. I believe in true freedom for all. And you ask me to turn a blind eye to people who need help? I can't do that. I will save and free any and all who need it, no matter the consequences. Even if this makes the X-Men my enemy, then I will still help other mutants. Because BLD doesn't matter. Intent does. Naruto told her, not backing down as he gazed at Storm unflinching. Storm gazed at him with her own narrowed gaze before she sighed. I cannot say I fault you for your actions. But are you prepared for the consequences that may come? Are you prepared to fight in a war you were never a part of now that you've fully intervened? Storm questioned. Without question. If people are being oppressed, then I will always be around to liberate and save them. That's what it means to be the hero of liberation. That's what it means to be me, Naruto said without hesitation. Your words are much like Charles but convey a different message entirely. He too wished for peace between humans and mutants. Your methods just differ, much like him and Magneto. I wish to see how far your ideals carry you, Aurora said as a small smile graced her face before she turned away. So are we still in trouble? Rogue asked, confused on the sudden agreement. Oh, absolutely, but the professor shall handle your punishment. As for Joy Boy, I believe Stark has something planned for your actions, Aurora said with a grin before a door slammed open revealing Jennifer and Carol. There you are. Stark offered you up as our sparring partner for the next 8 hours. Jennifer exclaimed with a grin. Say what now? Naruto asked wide-eyed. Yup, now get your cute as in gear. Mama wants a rough and hard pounding, Jennifer exclaimed, dragging Naruto to a sparring chamber. We're still talking about a spar, right? Right? Naruto yelled in fright at the Jade Giantess. That night. Oh God, my bones, Naruto groaned in his shower as he let the hot water cascade down his sore form. Carol and Jennifer had definitely not been easy to spar with. Especially since the two didn't really have a ton of people barring Hulk and Rogue they could really cut loose against, so with Naruto's RBB body nullifying most physical damage, they made the most of it by having a punching bag that literally kept getting back up over and over again. Being in close proximity to Yen's teasing didn't help either, Naruto muttered as several times the green woman had teased him by pinching his ass, shoving his head into her melons, and even blowing in his ear before suplexing him to the ground. DMN these gorgeous women, Naruto muttered with a sigh as Carol laughed at the teasing and even got in on it at one point by smacking his ass as he prepared a gum pistol. Would you like someone to wash your back, beloved? A female voice said next to him in the shower. Sure thanks, Naruto responded without thinking before his eyes widened to see a NDE Yamura next to him holding a bar of soap. Yamura yelled wide-eyed at her presence and the fact she was naked. What are you doing here? Naruto asked with a red face. I watched the spar you had with those two harlots and figured you could use some relief, the enchantress said with a giggle. I need an adult. Naruto asked nervously. You are an adult, she giggled before she leaned in and kissed him. However, before she could do more, Naruto's bathroom door slammed open as Janet rushed in. Step away from my man B. Janet yelled as she tackled the NDE enchantress against the wall of the shower. Gah! DMNU. We will have our time one day, beloved. Amora yelled before teleporting away. Thanks Janet. I don't mind getting to know her or anything, but I am not ready for SEC yet, Naruto said with a breath of relief, getting silence from the Wasp. Janet? Naruto asked, confused on why she was so silent until he realized he was in the shower. Hence he was naked and on full display in front of his girlfriend. This is awkward, Naruto said as he made to cover himself after shutting off the water to get a towel on. As he left, Janet just kept staring wide-eyed at where he was standing. So big, Janet muttered over and over again with a blush on her face. A few days later. It had been a few days since the incident with Senator Kelly, and currently Naruto was hanging out in the city just doing some regular patrolling to clear his head. As he swung himself onto a rooftop, he heard his communicator ID going off. Finally some real action, Naruto said as he looked at the ID and moving to leave for the location it had given him. Soon he arrived at the Avengers mansion and rushed in. Okay, if this you having me spar with Jen or something again, Tony, I'm kicking your ass, Naruto muttered as he walked inside. But he stopped as he saw the rest of the team fighting what looked like a man with blue skin and wearing a set of very high-tech armor and a floating high-technological chair floating by him. So the full team is here. The hero of liberation has arrived, the man said with an impassive look. Who's this clown? Naruto asked the team curiously. Calls himself Kang the Conqueror, Tony said as he aimed his repulsors at Kang. And he's here to kill Cap, Janet said as she hovered nearby in her small form. Well, we can't have that, can we? Sorry dude, I have a no killing my friends rule. But don't worry, I'll at least help you reunite with the Blue Man group if you surrender, Naruto offered with a grin. What you want means nothing, I'm doing this to secure my timeline. Let me show you all what he causes, Kang said as he sat in his chair and activated it, causing everything to change around all of them. Where are we? Tony asked as he looked around at the barren wasteland they were now in. This is Earth in just 10 years, a barren wasteland after a war between the Kree and the Skrull. And all because of Captain America, Kang said with a firm tone. I feel like there's a lot of context getting from point A to point B, Naruto admitted, as how did a war between two races end up as Steve destroying everything? Seemed like a big leap. What exactly is your full plan? Hank asked Kang. After I deal with him I will take over and secure the Earth and make sure it can fight back against both the Kree and Skulls, Kang said with a firm tone. You know, you're starting to remind me of Dr. Doom, Naruto said with a scowl. Don't think you can fight me, while history speaks highly of you and even your group of harlots. I don't exactly believe half of what it said you were capable of. To me you are a child, Kang said with a firm tone. Is that a fact? Do you want to test that theory? Naruto asked with a smirk. If you wish to make some pathetic attempt to fight me then please do so. I shall even allow you the first blow, Kang said unfazed. Oh boy, you're gonna regret that one, Clint said with a smirk along with Hulk. Naruto smiled at this before he closed his eyes and focused a bit. Kang raised an eyebrow at this but did nothing before Naruto's eyes shot open. I feel it, I feel it, I feel it, I feel it. Naruto yelled, pounding on his chest, creating a gust of wind with crashing orange lighting slowly shifting to black as a surge of energy rushed throughout his body. the plus of his heart caused his chest to pump again and again while his blonde hair started to stand up as it slowly turned white, the pale color also changing his pants and sandals while white clouds formed around his neck. His blue eyes pulsated as they slowly shined bright red. His body moving to the invisible rhythm of the beat. He slowly took a sigh as the beat started to calm a bit. Just then a massive wave shot through him as he let out a loud burst of laughter and with a surge of black lightning as the ground beneath him began to crack and crumble, the lightning shooting off in all directions, destroying mountains of destroyed buildings. Naruto continued to chuckle as his body puffed up like a balloon, sending him bouncing around the now bubbly ground. Bouncing just as much was the multicolored lighting surging around him. What is this? Kang shouted as his scanners started to go nuts. This is the warrior of liberation. Thor uttered. They watched something torn from a child's cartoon. Naruto's laughter soon came to an end, giving a large grin as his eyes fixed themselves on Kang. Before the Tyrant of Time had the slightest chance of reacting, Naruto was already in front of him, his fist collided into him, sending Kang bouncing along the ground. What the dash? Kang was asking before Naruto was in front of him again, sending a double axe handle onto the Conqueror and sending him back to the ground to bounce back up, only for Naruto to do so again. This is a fun game of whack-a-mole. Ahahaha. Naruto laughed like a lunatic. Why, you insolent little dash. Bam. Kang was cut off by being sent back down to the ground and bouncing back up. As this was happening, Tony flew to Kang's chair and linked himself to it as he sat down. Can you actually hack into that thing, Tony? Hank asked. Yeah, while I was scanning it earlier I found out it has some Stark tech built into it. This'll just be a minute, Tony said as his scanner started to give updates on his progress. Take your time, I think Naruto can buy us that much time and then some, Janet said with a grin. I'm going to tear off your quirk. Kang yelled as he was suddenly backhanded by Naruto in the face. And then slapped with the palm of Naruto's same hand. And over again the Conqueror was bitch-slapped by the Sun God in human form. I never thought I'd be bored of slapping a man over and over again, Naruto admitted, yet still didn't stop his assault. Okay, I got it. Tony yelled as he activated the chair, and in a flash of light everyone was back in New York. Aw, no more. I was gonna throw dog treats at him next, Naruto asked with a pout as he got out of Gear 5. Tony shook his head at this as he flew out of Kang's chair before Kang himself appeared in his chair. You will pay for this insult, child, Kang said as he glared at Naruto. All I hear is hit me, Joy Boy. Please strike me. God, this helmet makes me look fat. Naruto said with a smirk just as Kang vanished along with his chair. So that happened, Clint said as he sighed in relief that the enemy had retreated for now. It could have been worse, Chala said as he looked at the team. How you figure? Hank asked, confused. Akane could have been here to cause more chaos alongside her brother, Chala said flatly. I wanna argue, but he ain't wrong, Janet admitted. Oh, relax, she's busy with school now anyway, Naruto said as he waved his hand dismissively. Do you think that's the last of Mystique's long-lost brother? Tony asked, bringing the topic back to Kang. No. He'll be back. I'm sure of it. And with numbers on his side now that he knows what we're capable of, Steve said with a frown. Good, gives me time to ask the old man to have an answer for whatever he has, Naruto said with a smirk. So that means you're going back to your village for a bit to get some aid? Hank asked curiously. Nah, I'm just gonna make a call and warn the old man what's coming, Naruto admitted as he shrugged as everyone went back to Avengers Mansion. A hidden base. Inside a hidden base, what looked like a pale man with long black hair wearing a lab coat was studying a vial of a green fluid in a microscope. As he did so, a knock on the lab door sounded. What have I said about disturbing me during my experiments, Kabuto? The pale man asked as he turned to a young man with silver hair and glasses. Forgive me, Lord Orochimaru, but Hydra wishes to see some demonstrations of what your research is capable of before they fully fund you. Ah, very well then, Orochimaru said with a grin. As he walked to another part of his lab, he approached what looked like several tubes which had young adults with dark skin in them. What stood out about them was that on certain parts of their arms you could see their green BLD. Kukuku, time to show Hydra what Separahims can do, Orochimaru said with a grin as the tubes opened for the dark-skinned experiments to leave. Following their MSTR as they headed out of the lab. New York City. The day after the Avengers had driven Kang off from his attempt to assassinate Captain America had started off as rather simple. The sun was shining. People were enjoying the appealing morning in the city. Birds were chirping. And a massive amount of giant yellow flying ships started to appear above the city, launching pods into the streets as they became giant yellow robots that started to wreak havoc all over the city where Naruto was heading out to meet up with Janet. Avengers assemble. His ID card yelled out the second he stepped outside the mansion gates. One day. I ask for one day without some giant monster attack. Devil. We're going hunting. Naruto yelled as he approached the giant red T-Rex, who roared in response before he followed the blonde into the city. Running through the gates, destroying them. If Stark asks, it was the robots. Naruto yelled so Jarvis could hear him. With Akane. Elsewhere on a rooftop in Hell's Kitchen, Akane was sparring with Miles, helping him practice his powers, when a yellow giant robot landed right next to them and started to attack them. Did you have Mr. Stark build a robot to spar with? Miles asked as he dodged a strike from the robot's long arm with a backflip. You think I'd ask Stark over my village's science team to build a robot for you to practice on? Akane asked with a scoff as she sent a hockey-infused mace strike at the robot's chest, sending it flying off the rooftop to the city below. Okay, so did you ask them? Miles asked as he walked over to her. Not one of ours. If it was, it'd be more humanoid and firing lasers out of its mouth, Akane said before scowling as she saw screaming civilians running from an army of the same robots attacking them. Oh, that ain't good, Miles said, seeing the robot army decimating the city before they saw a bunch of flying ones attacking the incoming helicarrier in the sky as the shield ship was starting to take heavy fire in the air. Avengers assemble. Akane's Avengers ID card rang out. No SHT, you third-rate inventing hack with a drinking problem. Akane yelled into the ID as she knew Tony could hear her. Rude, Tony said through the comms to Akane. Akane, calm down and meet with Cap and Panther on Main Street. Devil and I are en route, Naruto said through the comms as the two teens took off. You're coming with? Akane asked Miles. I'm not leaving civilians to die in this madness. If I can help people get away from this, I will. Miles told her before she tossed him a Spider-Man mask which he caught. Then wear a mask unless you want to be on the 6 o'clock news, Akane said before she turned into her hybrid form and jumped off the rooftop, making her way to the meet-up point. Miles put on the mask and quickly swung off into the city to try and help civilians. Main Street. Two boys were running from the chaos being caused by the invading robots. As the two were forced to the ground from an explosion, a robot towered over them and fired a green laser from its eye down onto them in an attempt to incinerate the two boys. Only for Steve to appear in front of them and block the laser and throw his shield at the robot, tearing it open with a massive hole as it exploded. Avengers assemble. Steve yelled as he caught his shield as more robots appeared around Steve. Only for the Hulk to leap through the air and land on one of them and drive his feet through the giant robot and tear it to pieces. Save some for me, big guy. Akane yelled as she leapt at a giant robot with her hockey-coated claws and tore it to pieces as she stood in front of the Hulk. As more robots started to march through the streets, a large group of ants suddenly started to fly into the gaps of the robots' armors and eat the wiring inside, making them explode. So much destruction. Why would someone do this? Hank asked as he flew on the back of an ant through the city as he made his way. Why? I'm still working on what? What are these aliens? Clint said as he fired an arrow at a robot. Unlikely given the Egyptian styling to them. More likely this is Kang, Chala said as his vibranium claws tore a robot in half. Of course it's him. Anyone got a problem if I give him a RBB fist up his ass next time I see him? Naruto asked as he leapt off Devil Dinosaur onto a robot and drove a hockey-coated fist into his eye. You had your fun. I want first crack. Akane yelled as she slammed her mace into a robot, making it explode. Truly, this is a battle the likes of which Midgard has never seen. How fare thee, Wasp? Thor asked from the sky as he gathered up lightning and sent it at a group of flying pods, destroying them. Meanwhile, Janet flew past him and started blasting the pods with her stingers to no effect as her energy blasts did nothing. Ugh. I need bigger stingers, Janet grunted out in frustration as she continued to try and fire on the pods. You didn't get upgrades from Ka-san yet? Coward. Akane yelled as she used her claws to tear apart a robot. I asked. She said it'd take 2 to 3 weeks shipping, Janet grumbled. AKA she's dragging her peach cause you're not her favorite of my brother's concubines, Akane said with a snicker as she smashed a robot in the face with a mace. I'll see if I can get Shursui to drop whatever she made off when we survive this, Naruto said as Devil Dinosaur turned his skin into diamond and slammed a robot with his tail, destroying it. This is crazy. Do we have a plan? And where's Iron Man? Janet asked before a pod exploded next to her and Thor, making them grunt from the explosive force. The Helicarrier. Return fire. Fury ordered his crew on the Helicarrier. Sir, all weapon systems are offline. We can't, sir, incoming. A crewmate yelled, seeing some ships about to fly directly into the Helicarrier, only for Tony in his Iron Man suit to fly in front of them and send a chest laser into the oncoming ships and incinerating them. What took you so long, Stark? Fury asked with a tone of mild annoyance. Hey, traffic's worse than normal. The Helicarrier's a sitting duck out here, Fury. You need to get clear of the city. The Avengers can handle this, Tony told him. Yeah. You want to tell me how you intend to do that? Fury asked skeptically. Sure. Once I figure it out myself, Tony said as Mjolnir suddenly slammed into a bunch of flying drones and took them out as Thor flew next to Tony. The Hulk boasted that he would smash more machines than I. He is sorely mistaken, Thor said with a firm tone as he went back to attack the drones. Oh please, I'll take out more than both of you, Akane said through the comms as she slammed her mace onto a robot on the street and sent it flying into 4 others, making all 5 explode. Can I get in on this? Naruto asked as he sent a hockey fist and an uppercut to a nearby robot and launched into the sky where it exploded. You could all act like you're a little worried about this, Tony said on the comms to them all. Sadly, I've faced such odds before in the defense of Asgard, Thor admitted as he attacked the drones. I just like to crush things, so this is fun for me, Akane said as she attacked the drones. Humor helps me focus, Naruto said as he sent a gum-gum Gatling infused with hockey at a drone. Jarvis, isolate and scan one of these things and analyze, Tony ordered, looking at the flying drones, and his eyes widened at what he saw from the scan. You've got to be kidding me. These ships, this tech. I know it. It's Dash, Tony was saying before a hologram of Kang appeared in the sky. Did you really think you had defeated me? Kang asked. Kang, Thor said with a glare. I told you, Avengers, that I would save this world. Under my rule Earth will be strong. It will survive the coming onslaught. I have been learning the strengths and weaknesses of your era's defenses. And now the true conquest begins, Kang said with a grin before the hologram disappeared as the robots that had been destroyed started regenerating and rejoining the attack. OCRP, Clint groaned, seeing this as the Avengers got ready to continue fighting off the robots. They're regenerating. It was all an act. We never even made a dent. Hank yelled wide-eyed under his helm. Probably as AFU to me for making him a ping-pong ball, Naruto admitted as he ducked under a tentacle strike. That's what happens when you antagonize the enemy. Hank yelled as he tried to fight back against the restored mech as one restrained him. Oh, go F and ant, you moron. Quit blaming my brother for everything just cause you got friend-zoned by Janet. Akane yelled as she bashed a robot with her mace infused with armament hockey. Naruto snorted in laughter at this before Janet coughed on the comms, making him stop. Sorry babe, Naruto muttered. Hawkeye Panther fire at will. Okami, Hulk free giant man. Steve ordered as Hank in giant form was slammed down to the street. Now would be a good time to go all the mask. Tony yelled at Naruto as he fired some beams at the mechs. And play my ace right away? Hell no. I'll bring back an old favorite though. Gear 2. Naruto yelled as his legs pumped his BLD so he could move faster and stronger. At least call your mom or Egghead. Clint yelled over the comms. You think I haven't been trying? She'd love destroying these things. Akane yelled as she clobbered the mech restraining Hank. At Yamatora. Things in Yamatora were peaceful at first. Until giant yellow robots started falling from the sky with ships overhead attacking the village indiscriminately. Status report. Minato demanded as he sent a yellow beam of light through 3 robots incinerating them. We are being attacked, Kakashi said with a calm tone as he sent a blast of lightning from his hand through a robot. No FSHT. Kushina yelled as she punched a robot with a simple armament hockey enhanced fist that which just dented it. The F? Kushina yelled enraged that her attack barely did anything. Did you forget to use armament hockey? Mikoto asked leaping away from a strike from one. Of course not. Hiruzen. What the hell are these things? Kushina yelled as she jumped back from the mech and touched her earpiece. They're tech I've never seen before. They actually have some defense against armament hockey. I must know how they were made. Hiruzen's voice yelled in awe. F great. So you can take a weak punch, right? Let's see if you can take a real hit. Kushina yelled, blasting out Conqueror's hockey. Conqueror's hockey? Really? Minato asked as Kushina's fists turned black, only this time they were sparking with red lightning as she leapt into the air, turning into her fox hybrid form, her tails turning black and sparking with red lightning too. Deathly impact. Kushina roared, slamming her fist and tails down on the ground as a giant blast of energy erupted around her in a wave, decimating the robots in the area. F punks. Back in the old days that would have destroyed half the village. I'm getting too old for this CRP, Kushina groaned out as she rotated her shoulder. Hiruzen, where are these things coming from? Minato asked as he sent a blast at a swarm of mechs, making them all explode. They appear to be just appearing out of nowhere via teleportation. However, I'm scanning to see if they have a link to a hive-like network. If we can find where they're taking orders from, I can track their leader, Hiruzen said. Make it fast, old man. Looks like more are coming, Kushina grunted out, seeing more robots coming from the sky. Lady Kushina, you should know it's not just our village. New York, Wakanda, Canada, Genosha. Everywhere is being attacked by these things, Konohamaru's voice said. A worldwide attack. Who on earth would possibly have the ability to pull that off? Minato asked. Oh my goodness. This is incredible. Even I didn't think this was possible. Hiruzen yelled over the communication. What is it, you old quack? Get to the point. Kushina yelled as she clawed a robot apart. These things are from the future. This tech is beyond anything I've ever seen from all over the world. This is astounding. Hiruzen exclaimed. So you can't beat it? Kakashi asked as he summoned some lightning storms to provide cover for Minato and Kushina. I never said that. I'm deploying the pacifistas around the world ASAP, time to show that I am the leading MSTR of science in the world. I am the true scientist supreme. Hiruzen yelled before a large amount of humanoid robots started flying towards the ships in the air and robots on the ground, blasting them with yellow lasers. The tides of the battle were turning in their favor. Back in New York. How many explosive arrows do you have left? Steve asked as he, Hawkeye, and Naruto were surrounded by mechs. None. I can throw rocks if you want, Clint said, smirking. Welp, I guess I'll bust out the big guns. Akane, cover me for 10 minutes after this gear dash, Naruto was saying as his arm turned black as he was gonna go gear forth when suddenly a giant laser blast came from a Quinjet in the air, destroying the robots. Good news, I found bigger stingers, Janet said, revealing she was piloting the Quinjet into battle. God, I love that woman, Naruto said as he smiled at the jet as it fired at the mechs. She totally pegs you, doesn't she? Akane asked as she smirked while Naruto sputtered at this. Open comms people, Tony groaned at the siblings. Wait, what's pegging? Steve asked, confused. I am curious as well, Thor admitted. I'm not explaining that. There's not enough alcohol in the world for me to explain it, Tony groaned out as he sent missiles at some robots, blowing them up. These soulless machines are moving through the city piece by piece, Thor said as he swung Mjolnir at a robot and sending it flying. We can't be the only ones out here fighting, right? Clint asked. We're probably not. I'm sure the other heroes are fighting throughout New York, just nowhere near us, Naruto said as he slugged a robot with a hockey-coated fist. Until otherwise, consider us on our own. I don't know why Kang's targeting this city, but we'll take him down, Tony said. It's not just New York, Stark. It's all over the world. He's invading the planet in its entirety, Fury said over comms. Even our village? Akane asked, surprised at this. Avengers regrouped to the mansion, Tony ordered, as they needed a big plan if they were gonna take down Kang from his planetary invasion. What? But Tony, the people. Naruto yelled. We're not abandoning them. But these robots can't be stopped unless we make a plan. And out here we're sitting ducks, Tony told him. I'm not just gonna dash, Naruto was yelling before he was cut off as what looked like a squad of pacifistas flew overhead and started to open fire on the mechs. Pacifistas? Akane asked, wide-eyed, seeing this. Mom must have sent help, Naruto said, also wide-eyed. Not just here, those things are showing up all over the world and attacking Kang's forces, Fury explained. This can give us time to plan, Tony said with a breath of relief as the heroes retreated while the pacifistas attacked King's forces. Avengers Mansion. On a screen in the meeting room, Fury spoke to the Avengers. Every major city in the world is under attack by Kang's forces. Several have already fallen and even more have surrendered. The pacifistas your village sent are helping, but they're not doing enough damage to end the threat, only prolonging it. For every pacifista there's 30 robots, Fury explained, showing screens of Yamatora, Genosha, and Wakanda being attacked. They sent robots to Genosha? Where a guy who controls metal lives? Janet asked, baffled. You overestimate Magneto. He's powerful, but not everyone on the island can manipulate metal. Just him and his daughter Polaris, Fury said. This is madness. How are we supposed to fight this? Hank asked, looking at all the chaos. We need to take this fight to Kang. Cut off the head of the snake and the body will follow, Akane said, hefting her mace on her shoulder. Good idea, but while we do that the earth will be getting its teeth shoved in, Naruto said with a frown as he turned to see Chala looking at the screen with Wakanda being attacked. Chala, your people need their king. You should go, Steve said, seeing this as well. What? Cap, that's not your call, we need all the dash, Tony was saying before he saw the looks the other Avengers were giving him, right? Take one of the Quinjets. We'll be there to help as soon as we can, Tony said. Thank you, my friends, Chala said with grateful nod before running off. We have to do something here. Our forces are hopelessly outnumbered and barely holding out, Fury told them. We have to find Kang and take the fight to him, Tony said seriously. He's probably expecting that though, Janet said. Yeah, but he probably wants that considering how I made him flee like a punk bee last time and has a HRD on for murdering Steve, Naruto said as he snickered at the memory. If you're done being juvenile, dash, Hank said as he rolled his eyes. Never. Naruto cut him off with an impassioned yell. Do we have any idea where he is? Hank asked with a twitching eyebrow. No, my tech couldn't trace his communication, Tony said with a frown. Perhaps you need more than just your tech, Stark, an older male voice said as Hiruzen appeared on the screen in a split screen with Fury. What the? How did you get in this view call? This is an encrypted shield call, Fury demanded. Oh please Konohamaru broke your encryption in 2 minutes, Hiruzen said ignoring fury. Old man. I take it you sent out the pacifistas worldwide to help, Kane asked with a smirk. But of course. Inventors are nothing if they can't share their results with others, Hiruzen said with a smile. Still waiting on that food vending machine for the mansion old man, Naruto said as he crossed his arms. It's on backorder. Your mother refused to let me send the one that only makes ramen like I planned, Hiruzen told him. That evil witch. Naruto yelled angrily. Enough with the banter. We need to hunt down where Kang is, Fury demanded. So just have Stark work with the old man. I'm sure the two of them combined can make a semblance of an adult able to find where Kang is, Akane said. Works for me, just don't call me boy old man, Stark said as they were running out of time and options. Sure thing Sonny, Hiruzen said smirking. Your village sucks whiskers and kibbles, Tony said looking at Naruto and Akane. It was one time. I was curious. Akane yelled as she raised her mace ready to bash Tony's head in. Enough you. To focus on finding Kang. Avengers were heading back out there to save the civilians and hold the line, Steve ordered. Sounds good to me. Naruto said grinning as the Avengers ran out into the streets again while Tony and Hiruzen worked on tracking Kang. Skies above New York. Janet was firing down on ships in the air with the Quinjet when she saw some veer off towards the Manhattan Bridge. There's more going towards the bridge, Janet said over comms. You know there is something incredibly sexy about a woman flying a Quinjet and blasting robots to smithereens, Naruto said grinning as he was revealed to be in the Quinjet at the back by the entrance ramp. Oh yeah? Janet asked grinning back hearing this. Can you two not flirt with your comms on? I swear you two are so disgustingly sweet I think I'm getting diabetes, Akane said over comms. Remind me to grill you over that Morales kid, Naruto said firing back at his sister before Janet did an aileron roll in the Quinjet to avoid laser fire from a flying ship. I think I could use some cover fire. Can you hop on a gun? Janet asked. Gun. Now lower the ramp, Naruto said smirking as he stood at the ready. If this ends with you getting us lasered to death I'm making your afterlife miserable mister, Janet warned him as she clicked a button and opened the ramp for him. Don't worry I got this. Gum gum dash, Naruto said as he reared his fist back for a gum gum pistol on a drone tailing them only for a blast of lightning to hit the drone and incinerate it. DMN it Thor I had that one. Naruto yelled. 'Twas not me boy of joys, Thor said as he was completely away from them. Naruto blinked before seeing more and more bolts of lightning fire down as large storm clouds rolled in. Did someone call a storm in as cavalry? Janet asked confused. Oh, I called the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the other heroes in New York. I figured they could all pitch in and team up instead of leaving the majority of the work to us, Akane said over comms. You couldn't have told us that beforehand? Clint asked over the comms. Quit your bitching Legolas. The more hands on deck we have the better, Akane yelled over comms. Hey I'll take any help we can get, Janet said as she swerved around a ship only to watch it get hit with a blast of green fire. Green fire. You didn't, Naruto said paling while Janet scowled at this. Darling. I'm here to help. Amora yelled as she appeared via portal alongside Sasuke and the Quinjet grabbing Naruto in a tackling hug. Can't breathe. Naruto choked out as his face was currently in between the Enchantress' large bosom. Hey get his head out of your rack. Janet yelled at Amora. Sasuke help me. Naruto choked out between the Enchantress melons. Yeah I'm staying out of this one. I know when not to fight a battle, Sasuke said flatly as Amora let Naruto go to catch his breath. You guys are helping us? Naruto asked as he took some breaths. But of course. If this world dies then you might perish beloved, Amora said smiling. And the rest of us, Janet asked glaring at the blonde villainess. A worthy sacrifice if my beloved lives, Amora said simply. If the world is enslaved I'm kind of screwed out of my hunt. Also my stuff is on this planet, so there's that, Sasuke said simply. Such selfless reasons to help, Janet said, rolling her eyes. I won't complain. Janet opened the ramp. I think I see a crowd of bots attacking on Main Street, Naruto said, seeing a large group of robots. Very well, let's go, beloved, Amora said giddily at the idea of helping her beloved. No, you stay with Janet and help her take down the ships in the air, Naruto told the enchantress. Me? With her? Are you crazy? Don't answer that, I forgot who I'm talking to, Janet yelled before sighing. I do not wish to help her. I'd much rather assist you, Amora complained. If you do this, I'll owe you a date. Anywhere in the realms. Whatever you want to do. Besides that. Naruto said before seeing the lecherous gleam in her eyes. Very well. I will assist your CNCBN before we return to being enemies after today, Amora said as she crossed her arms. This is a bad idea, Janet muttered as Naruto looked at her. We need all the help we can get, plus we can trust her to keep her word at least. She helped with my village, remember? She saved my life. She may not be a hero, but I don't see her as a villain. And you may not trust her, but do you trust me? Naruto asked as he approached Janet. Of course I trust you. You know I do, Janet told him as he grabbed her hand and squeezed it. Then trust the me that trusts her, Naruto said. You gotta stop watching anime, Janet said flatly as Naruto let go of her hand. You are such a dope, Sasuke said, smirking at this. F off, duck, as you and me are about to go take on an army of robots together. The least you can do is not be a PP, Naruto said as he turned to look at his fellow villager. You want me watching your back? Sasuke asked, raising an eyebrow. You're already on a different path than you were. Besides, you and I always dreamed of taking on an army 2 versus all when we were kids. Might as well fulfill that old dream, Naruto said, smirking. Let's go tear up some scrap heaps, Sasuke said with a smirk as the Quinjet ramp lowered. Be safe, beloved. Amora yelled as Naruto and Sasuke leapt out. As Naruto fell, his heartbeat started to go crazy and his hair turned white with white smoke coming off of him as he entered Gear 5. Gahahahahaha. Naruto laughed as his haki went crazy, flying at buildings and robots nearby, making them explode. Meanwhile, Sasuke soon landed behind him, staring down robots as they were surrounded by the machines. Darkness and Conqueror's haki shooting off of him as more robots exploded from the two's presence. So what do you think of our odds? Sasuke asked as he sent some dark tendrils at the robots, impaling them. Might be a problem if one more joins, Naruto said, cackling like a hyena. I guess I'll have to take out that one then, Sasuke said, grinning. Oh, you're fighting these ones too? I thought you'd be at the next street up, Naruto laughed before the two Yamatorans rushed at the massive group of robots. One the embodiment of the sun and light. The other a vessel of darkness and shadow. Two opposites joined together to fight an oppressor. To fight for freedom against a tyrant. Naruto wrapped his arms around one of the robots and threw it into the air, slamming it down onto the ground with a German suplex before leaping onto the rubbery ground and jumping onto another robot, laughing as he danced around like a monkey on the massive mech. I always knew you were part chimp, Sasuke said, smirking as he slammed his palm on the ground to swallow up a group of mechs into the darkness. Okay. Naruto yelled, chattering like a monkey before he started to screech like a monkey and claw at the mech's head. The mech tried to slam its claw into Naruto and seize his attack, only for the hero of liberation to leap into the air and dodge the strike, making the robot impale itself. Hey robots, kiss my peach. Naruto yelled as he landed on the street and enlarged his as he pointed at it. There are some things that can never be unseen, Sasuke said flatly as a robot tried to attack him from behind, only for a familiar, muscled green woman to tackle the robot away, sending it flying. I disagree. Keep stretching things. She-Hulk yelled with a grin. Hey babe. Heads up. Naruto yelled as he grabbed a mech and swung it around a bit before he launched it at Jennifer, who reared her fist back and punched the incoming mech, sending it flying. As it skipped like a stone across the street, crashing into 6 more mechs. Woo! That was awesome. What's my prize? Jennifer asked with a smile. Date night? Naruto asked laughing as he landed beside her and Sasuke. Done. Jennifer yelled excitedly. Do you just regularly hit on women during fights? Sasuke asked with a raised eyebrow. I mean kind of. Naruto snickered as another robot ran at him from behind only for Rogue to fly through the mech with her cosmic aura and rip it apart. May want to save the flirting for after the fight, Suga, Rogue said smirking before she flew off to take out more mechs. Dear God, if we weren't in a war, the things I'd do to her, Naruto said grinning like a loon as he watched Rogue tear through robots as more and more heroes arrived to help fend off Kang's forces. The thing was running roughshod, punching any robots he could clobber into scrap before throwing one into the air, which Carol flew through as she ripped through mech after mech with her enhanced strength and flight. Devil Dinosaur in his diamond form was currently playing whack-a-mole with his tail, with each robot in sight serving as his targets, while the blaster vest he was wearing opened fire on any robot it saw. Cyclops was on a rooftop sending optic blast after optic blast at the aerial ships to give some relief for more incoming forces. Storm was in the skies sending lightning bolt after lightning bolt down onto any bots in her range to destroy them. Spider-Man and Miles were swinging around collecting civilians to get them out of harm's way, while the Human Torch covered them as they got people to safety. His flames blocking off any pursuit attempts from the robots. Suddenly a robot fell right in front of Sasuke, with Logan stabbed into it as the angry Canadian slashed and hacked at the mech like a beast, ripping the robot open with an enraged fury before his gaze turned to Naruto and Sasuke, who watched on. The hell are you two girls looking at? He questioned with a scowl. I'm gonna guess he did something to your favorite bar. Naruto asked snickering. Place got blown up and my favorite bartender is dead. The hell do you think? Logan growled. Get back to killing, old man. I'm ahead of you by 6. Hello dear, Laura yelled as she ran by with a robot's head impaled on one of her talons and kicked it off before nodding at Naruto and running off. You attract some crazy women, Sasuke said flatly as Logan glared at Naruto before running off. It's part of the charm, Naruto cackled as he sent a giant fist through the streets and ran over mech after mech with a single punch until there was only scrap on the road. These things just keep coming. Colossus yelled as he punched a mech and dented the metal on it. Ha ha. Wade yelled as he attacked some mechs with his SMGs while thrusting his hips suggestively. Must you be so vulgar, Wade? Storm asked as she flew down toward some mechs and sent wind at them to send them flying. SCK a PP Halle Berry. Wade yelled as he threw his empty guns away and pulled out some vibranium katanas and started attacking the robots in a whirlwind of chaos. I mean, whoever gets that from her is a lucky man, Naruto snickered. We have flyers incoming. Nightcrawler yelled as he had been teleporting around, jamming his blades into opening on the robots and cutting them down from inside, or at the least weakening their joints for others to capitalize on. All the heroes took cover behind debris as some flying robots started heading towards them and fired laser blasts at them. I'll handle it. Gum gum dash, Naruto was yelling, about to turn into a giant. However, the flying robots' blasts and themselves crashed into an invisible wall, exploding on impact. Huh? Sasuke asked, confused, before seeing Susan stepping forward holding up a large force field around the heroes. Sorry I'm late. Wanted to make sure Franklin was in a safe place under protective watch before coming to help people evacuate, Sue said as she appeared next to Naruto before she let the force field down once the attack ceased. Just in the nick of time, Sue. I owe you 1 inch, Naruto said, laughing with a grin. Unnoticed by the heroes, a mech that had hit the force field and hadn't been completely destroyed slowly came back up and aimed its laser cannon at Sue. As the blast sailed towards her, Naruto pushed her out of the way and took the blast with his RBB body. Didn't anyone teach you not to attack a hot woman, Peach? Naruto yelled as his body sent the laser back at the robot, incinerating it as Naruto dropped out of Gear 5. You okay? Sue asked, concerned as she caught Naruto into her arms. Yeah, I'll be fine in a bit, Naruto groaned as his form had wrinkles on top of wrinkles. Energy pills courtesy of the old man. Akane yelled as she ran by on all fours while in her full divine wolf form while tossing a pack energy pills at Naruto. Naruto caught said pills and threw one into his mouth and quickly ate it before springing back to his feet. Woo, that's that good SHT. SEK it kale you fake as superfood. Naruto yelled laughing. So hot woman huh? Sue asked with a raised eyebrow. Well Naruto was saying sheepishly before his comms went off. Avengers regroup. Wasp has an idea to turn the tide of this war in our favor. We're going to prison 42-inch Steve ordered. Oh, would you look at that? Gotta go Sue. We'll continue this conversation never. Goodbye. Naruto yelled running off. He totally wants you, I blame co-author Samus MLFFTSH, Wade said snickering at the invisible woman who sputtered at the merc with a mouth's words as more and more robots started heading towards the heroes drawing their attention as the battle continued. Prison 42. The Negative Zone. The Avengers exited the elevator of the Negative Zone prison created by the late Reed Richards and maintained by his team as well as Hank Pym and Tony Stark. As the group walked into the Prion they looked around seeing a massive amount of robots guarding cells monitoring everything. What do you call these things? Steve asked as they approached a line robot drone. Ultron, Janet said as she looked at a drone. I'll just say it again for the record, I'm not comfortable with this. The Ultrons have weapon systems designed by Iron Man. But I've disabled everything except a simple stun blast. Hank said. People's lives are at stake, Dr. Pym. If you have a better idea I'm open to it, but as it stands we need as much help as we can get to fight off this force, Steve said as he knew they needed another army alongside the pacifistas and heroes to fight back. Hank frowned and walked over to the lone drone before opening a compartment and fiddling with its components. What are you doing? Naruto asked. I'm teaching Ultron the concept of violence, Hank said as he finished his modifying. The eyes and mouths of every Ultron drone suddenly changed from blue light to red. Wait, those things have AI. And they're a hive mind? Naruto asked raising an eyebrow at this. Oh hell no. Akane yelled as she made AX with her arms. What is it? Janet asked as she looked at her boyfriend and his sister. Robots with AI plus teaching them anything equals problems, that's what the old man says, hence why he doesn't use AI anymore. Not after last time, Naruto said with a shudder. Which is part of the reason I don't want to modify Ultron, Hank said with a frown. Programming accepted, the Ultron drone before them said with a nod. Let's just hope they don't go all Terminator on us, Akane grumbled as unfortunately this was their only option and it had already been done. Tony. Hiruzen. Any luck finding Kang? Naruto asked on comms. F. Tony yelled angrily. Okay, I'll leave you to it. Memo to me when this is over, I'll buy him and pepper some scotch, Naruto said as the Ultron drone started to fly out and help fight off Kang's forces in the city. Back in the city. Have at thee. Thor yelled slamming a robot with his hammer as he and the other heroes fought off the invading forces. As the heroes were slowly getting overrun, laser fire suddenly fired down on the mechs as drone after drone of Ultron flew into the city and fired on the robotic menace. They reprogrammed the Ultrons? Sue asked with wide eyes seeing this. Unfortunately for plot reasons it needed to happen. Don't worry though, everything will totally be awful after this. I got no strong to hold me down, Wade sang as he jumped around and took shots at the enemy with his guns. Hey, we'll take any help we can get at this point, Jennifer said wiping off some sweat from her brow as she had been smashing mech after mech. A Quinjet suddenly flew overhead as Naruto dropped down to help the heroes fend off the forces. What did I miss? Naruto asked as dropped onto a mech with hockey-coated legs and stamped it into smithereens. Not much RBB boy, Ben said grinning at the added help of the robots and Naruto. So what now? Johnny asked as he hovered nearby. Janet and Hank are testing a hypothesis. If it works we may have a better target to take out than the mechs, Naruto said as he sent a gear second charged punch at a mech. Is the enchantress still helping them? Sasuke asked as he impaled a robot with tendrils of darkness and ripped it apart. No, I think she's gonna be on the ground helping. OCRP, Naruto said before his eyes widened in realization. Beloved. Amora was heard yelling as she appeared in a gout of green flames and bombarded the robots with magic fire. OCRP, not again. Naruto yelled as he was tackled once more to the ground. We gotta stop meeting like this, Amora, Naruto said, muffled by the enchantress' chest. You called me by my real name. Amora yelled happily, tightening her grip. Someone save me. Naruto demanded, still muffled. That's your girl Bud, Johnny said with a chuckle at this. I may be crazy and I may be stupid and I may be a third thing, but I ain't getting in between her and her prey, Wade said, shaking his head before up in the sky one of the drop ships phased out of existence. What was that? Sasuke asked, confused. To all Avengers and any other metas. Focus on the ships dropping off the robots. You destroy their consoles, they are phased back to their original timeline. Don't waste energy on the robots, leave them for Ultron. Akane was heard over comms. Guess Hank was right about them being anchored to our time, Naruto said, still muffled by Enchantress' chest. So decimate the ships then? Jennifer asked. Yup. Amora, can you let me up? Naruto asked as he looked up at the blonde sorceress. Of course, darling. Let us end these pests who dare interrupt our time together. Amora yelled with fire in her eyes. Thor, any advice here? Naruto asked as he looked at the god of thunder, hoping he would have some advice. I believe you mortals say wear a helmet and pray to any deity that will listen, Thor said as he flew at a ship. Gee thanks, Naruto said with an eye roll before a portal opened up beneath him and Amora as they appeared in the sky, Amora's hands alight with flames as Naruto's heartbeat started to beat like a drum as he laughed like a lunatic. Entering Gear 5 once more as they fell in front of a huge grouping of ships. Gum Gum Giant. Naruto yelled as he inhaled some air and grew to a giant size, towering over the city with Amora landing on his shoulder. Let's get crazy. Naruto yelled with a laugh as Amora sent a blast of magic at some of the ships, which made them freeze in place before Naruto grabbed them and started to smash them against each other and played with them like they were toys. Run, it's Gear 5 Zilla. Wade yelled from down below, to which Naruto roared Allah Godzilla as he threw a ship into another ship like a frisbee. Yes, beloved. Destroy them all. Amora laughed. Hey, just cause she wasn't as much of a villain when it comes to Naruto didn't mean she wasn't still kind of evil. I think I'm really starting to like you. Naruto laughed as he smashed a ship with his fist, making it explode from the impact as one by one every ship was decimated by all the heroes around. As soon as the last ship was gone, Naruto shrank as Gear 5 ended with him looking wrinkled once more on the street. Is it over? Naruto asked with a tired groan as Amora laid his head on her lap. This battle for now. We still need to find Kang and stop him. Who knows if he'll send more since he has forces all over the world, Steve said as all the heroes regrouped. Stark, any luck finding him? Akane asked through comms. The old man and I found him. Tony said over the comms. Good, where on earth is he? Naruto asked as he snapped out of his tired state thanks to the vitamins he had on him. That's the thing, my boy. He's not on Earth. He's in space above it, Hiruzen said over the comms. Good, I always wanted to go to space, Naruto said with a grin. Me too. Time to show aliens what real power is, Akane said, grinning savagely. You want help? Johnny asked as the Fantastic Four had plenty of experience with space threats. No, the Avengers will handle taking him on. He's targeting us and we need his focus on us only. And if he sends more forces to New York, Ultron and the pacifistas won't be enough, Naruto said as he stood up. I shall go with you. Amora said as she hugged Naruto from behind, surprising him. Like hell she is. Janet yelled, landing by the group. Amora, can you stay here and help evacuate people? Naruto asked as he looked at Amora. For you, darling, of course. I shall not disappoint you, Yamura said grinning as she ran off to do just that. You gotta tell me how the F you seduced a villain into that, Johnny said impressed as all hell. I have no idea. I just treated her nice and next thing I know she's stalking me. Naruto yelled. She still doesn't have my approval, Janet said with a glare. Look, we can talk about this later when we're not in a war zone. Till then Tony, what's the plan? Naruto asked. Avengers head to the mansion. We're gonna go take down a conqueror, Tony ordered. Good, wouldn't be the first time, Naruto said, smirking before looking at Sasuke and the other heroes. We're counting on you guys to help everyone while we beat Kang. Good luck, Naruto told them. We're not the ones who need luck. Do me a favor kid, clobber that asshat for me, Ben said grinning as he pounded his fist into his palm. You got it. Avengers assemble. Time to conquer the Conqueror. Naruto yelled as he and the other Avengers headed back to the mansion. The time was near to stop Kang once and for all. Central Park. After finding out about Kang's location being above the earth on his ship the Damocles, the Avengers had started making their way towards the Avengers mansion to meet up with Tony. Tony was prepping a way for them to travel into space, so the group of heroes was rushing back towards the mansion, leaving the other heroes to face off against Kang's robots. So which one did you leave the extra Quinjet to, Bug Lady? Wade asked Janet as he was following them through the park. Why is the dead of pools with us? Thor asked looking at Naruto. Don't look at me. I didn't ask him to join us, Naruto said as he shook his head. Author Sama wanted me here for some reason. Oh. Maybe he wants to make me an Avenger. Wade exclaimed giddily. Hell no. Akane and Hulk yelled together. Oh come on. I'd be a great Avenger. Tell them, Janet. Clint. Wade yelled at said Avengers. Pass. Clint yelled as he didn't want to deal with the mad mercenary regularly. I think I'd sooner let Enchantress join, Janet muttered under her breath. Steve. Back me up, Wade pleaded. As a team leader I should take my teammates' thoughts into account, Steve said after a few moments of thought. Oh, he's good, Naruto said with a knowing smirk to Janet, making her giggle as they knew Steve was just passing the buck. You all SCK. Fine, I'll start my own legally distinct team called the Revengers. With blackjack. And hookers. In fact, forget the team and the blackjack. Ah, screw the whole thing. Why the F did author Sama bring me here anyway? Wade yelled out in frustration as he looked up at the sky. As Wade yelled this, their way out of the park was suddenly blocked by a squad of Kang's robots. More of these assholes? Naruto asked, a bit annoyed seeing as they were on a time crunch. Just end them quickly and we can get back to the mansion, Hank said. As one of the robots moved to attack, what looked like a walnut bonked it on the head from above. A nut? Akane asked confused. Why do I hear boss music? Wade asked. I think it came from up there, Clint said as he pointed at a tree where what looked like a squirrel was standing on a branch and squeaking at the robots before throwing another walnut at the robot. You didn't. Tell me you didn't bring her in, author Sama. Do you have any idea what you have done? This was co-author Sama's idea, wasn't it? I knew he was evil, but even he couldn't have planned this. Wade yelled. Wade, what the hell is your problem? Besides the obvious, I mean, Naruto asked as Janet raised a hand to answer but lowered it as he finished his sentence. We're all doomed. Don't you understand? She is here. A being of unspeakable power. She who has bested all in her path. No one is safe. No one is safe. Hold me, I'm scared. Wade yelled, jumping into Akane's arms, who proceeded to drop him immediately. The robot the squirrel had attacked took aim at the squirrel, but before it could fire, Naruto slugged it hard with a hockey-infused punch after going into gear 2. Hey! Leave the little guy alone. Naruto yelled at the robot with a glare. Sweetie, I think he has friends, Janet said as her eyes widened as all the trees in the park started to shake before hundreds of squirrels started to come out of the trees and start to attack the robots. Okay, I've seen some weird stuff. Most of it from our village, but this is bizarre even for us, Naruto said. Don't let up, you guys, a female voice yelled as a figure leapt from the trees in front of the Avengers. They saw a woman with orange hair and squirrel-like ears poking out the top, wearing an orange shirt underneath a brown jacket, a pair of brown shorts with white fur at the bottom, holding a slingshot. What really stood out though was the long bushy squirrel tail poking out of her back. She had E-cup melons with a curvy body and a very plump, heart-shaped peach in thighs. Of course it's the Rivals version. IF knew it. For shame, co-author Sama. Wade yelled as he wagged his finger at the sky. Are these squirrels with you, miss? Thor asked as he looked at the newcomer. Yuppers. I'm the unbeatable Squirrel Girl. The woman said with a grin before firing a walnut from her slingshot at a robot and destroying it with one shot. Is this Midgard's goddess of squirrels? Thor asked his compatriots. There's no such thing, I think. After my brother being a sun god, I have no idea anymore, Akane admitted with some irritation as the robots were quickly swarmed by the army of squirrels. I have no words for this, Hank said wide-eyed. I think it's awesome, Naruto said with a grin at this. Thank you. I'll be here all week and thanks for stepping in to help Tippy Toe, Squirrel Girl said with a smile at Naruto as said squirrel jumped onto her shoulder and waved at everyone. Oh, no problem, I don't like bullies, Naruto said with a smile. Good, cause oh my gosh, Janet, is that you? Oh, I haven't seen you in ages. Squirrel Girl asked, seeing the Wasp. Wait, Doreen, is that you? When did this happen? Janet said, blinking in surprise before the girl pulled her into a hug. Oh, after you left Canada to head back to New York, I just woke up like this, the now named Doreen said as she shrugged. Oh great, is every super-powered person from Canada ridiculous? Akane asked as she looked at Wade and then jerked her thumb at Doreen. You don't understand, Yamato. Most of us are strong, but her. She's on another level. She can take over the world single-handedly. Had you met her when Doom attacked your village, Whiskers wouldn't have needed Gear 5. She is beyond any and all comprehension. Wade yelled. Oh. Okay, Scrat, you're a hero, right? Who's the worst villains you have taken out? Elaine asked as she turned to look at Doreen. Oh, this should be good, Hulk said with a scoff at this. Well, I did beat Juggernaut before when he was throwing a tantrum back in my hometown, Doreen said with a smile, getting silence from the team. What? Akane asked, disbelieving. Oh yeah, a guy was trashing the plaza, so me and my friends took him down. Doreen said with a smile. How? Clint muttered out with disbelief on his face. IF told you. She's beyond us all. She cannot be stopped, Wade yelled in a panic. You have Wade with you. You better not feed my squirrels pop rocks again. Doreen yelled as she spotted the mad merc and scowled in annoyance. This made Clint, Hulk, and Akane snort in laughter at this. Oh God! Please spare me, O great squirrel queen. I beseech thee and offer you a humble sacrifice. Wade yelled, pushing Naruto forward. Hey! Don't go trying to offer up my man DMN it. Janet yelled at the mad merc. Oh, so this is who you gave up on Hank for? He's cute. I love his whiskers, are they real? Doreen asked as she smiled at Naruto before she approached him. Yeah, they are real, oh, Naruto was saying before he started to groan as Doreen started to rub his whiskers. Did he just dash? Steve was asking, raising an eyebrow at this. He purrs. Oh, I'm so spreading that around, Clint said, snickering at this. Yes, good, now to make my daring escape while they are distracted by this revelation, Wade said as he tried to sneak away. But the mad merc's escape was blocked by an army of squirrels who were glaring at him. Nice squirrels? Wade asked. One of the squirrels pointed at Wade and hissed before they all pounced on the merc. Curse you author Sama and co-author Sama. Wade yelled as he was engulfed by the squirrel army. Hey, can you not have them kill him? We need every hero we can for this invasion, Naruto asked after Doreen let up on petting his whisker marks. Okay then, hey. Leave him alive so he can heal. Doreen yelled, getting salutes from her squirrel army as they got off the injured Wade. Oh god. At least it seems like author Sama and co-author Sama only brought her in from rivals. I mean, could you imagine if they brought in Dash? Wade groaned. Oh right. Hey Luna. You done freezing that squad down the block? Doreen asked as she tapped her earpiece. I'm almost at the park, I think I hear that moron Wade yelling through your comm, a female voice responded. Wait, Luna from our online chats. Janet asked Doreen. Yup. Get this, she got into some CRP with AIM and got ice powers, so we decided to surprise you as we wanted to meet your new boy toy. And then robots attacked, Doreen said with a smile as what looked like a woman sliding on a large ice slide slid over and landed next to Doreen. She had black and white hair while wearing a black jacket over a short blue shirt and white short shorts. She was also wearing heeled boots. She had D-cup melons, a fit and toned body and a big round peach. Are you kidding me? You two have no sense of shame, do you? Wade yelled at the sky as he quickly healed from the squirrel army's attack. Luna Snow. Akane yelled in surprise before she quickly composed herself. Wait. You don't watch movies or TV all your life, but you know her how? Naruto asked, looking at his sister with a raised eyebrow. I like her music, okay? I can have things I like. I need outlets too, you know, Akane said. Isn't that what that Morales kid is for, boy? Clint was saying before he ducked, avoiding a swing from Akane's mace. Janet, it's been a while. I see you're looking well. Luna said with a smile at the Wasp-themed heroine. Luna, this is a surprise. I didn't know you both became heroes, Janet said as she hugged her old friend. A recent development but not important. Now where's this new boyfriend of yours? I heard you gave up on that fool Pim for ignoring you, so I'm curious, Luna said with a smile. You people know I'm right here, right? Hank asked, a bit irritated at this conversation and the slander. I mean, you ignored her and drove her into RBB Boy's arms, Hulk said with a snicker at Ant-Man. This is her boyfriend and my brother, Akane said, pushing Naruto towards Luna. Oi. What the dash? Naruto was asking before Akane cut him off. Whether she kills you or not, I'm getting an autograph DM in it. If I have to sacrifice you or PMP you out, so be it. Akane told him. Oi. Naruto and Janet both yelled at the younger Uzumaki at this. Oh, he is a cute one. I see now why you gave up on Pim for him, Luna said as she circled Naruto and gazed at him inquisitively. Ladies, I know you have a lot of catching up to do with Janet, but we are in the middle of an invasion, Steve reminded them. Oh right. Okay Doreen, let's take the idiot and go help some of the other heroes deal with those robots, Luna said as she looked at Doreen while jerking a thumb at Wade. Hurtful. Wade yelled, offended at this. Yeah, you're right, Luna. We can always have some fun with whiskers later. That HRM rumor is true, right? Doreen asked with a smile as she looked at Janet. Yes, why? Janet asked, seeing the looks of interest on her two friends' face. No reason, we just can all catch up a bit more intimately after this invasion if you're up for dash, Doreen was saying with a grin before she was cut off. Let's go you, if you're gonna help then follow us, Wade. Luna said as she grabbed Doreen by the back of her jacket and dragged her off before she yelled after Wade. How do you do it? Clint asked, looking at Naruto. I was just standing here. I literally said nothing. Naruto yelled as he waved his arms in frustration. I want an autograph or I swear I'll crush your skull in. Akane yelled, hefting her mace threateningly. Okay team, let's get moving. Steve yelled at his team as they quickly moved to leave the park now that the way was open. I blame you for this, they were your friends, Naruto grumbled at Janet. Oh please, like you weren't checking them out, besides they are better options than that witch, Janet said as she rolled her eyes at her boyfriend. Hey, Wanda only kissed me on the cheek. Nothing else, Naruto said quickly. She did what? Janet asked with a glare at her boyfriend. I think she meant a Mora friend, Thor said with a sigh at his friend's mistake. Oh. I'm screwed, aren't I? Naruto asked as he slightly sweated nervously at his mistake. Royally your majesty, Clint said with a grin while Hulk laughed at Naruto's misfortune. We're gonna have words later after we beat Kang, Janet told Naruto with a firm look. Yes dear, Naruto sighed out as the team continued to the mansion to meet up with Tony. Avengers Mansion. Meanwhile back at the mansion, Tony was in the control room looking over the live footage of the attack by Kang's forces happening all over the world. Fury to Iron Man. We're out of time. Kang's forces have taken over 3/4 of the planet. Even with the help of the pacifistas, every city we hold 4 more fall. Fury informed Stark via comms. Are you calling just to give me a pep talk? Tony asked sarcastically as he clicked a few buttons on his computer to prep a Quinjet for launch. No, I'm calling to say the base you and Dr. Sarutobi found is on the move. My people are reading a massive energy build-up. That thing's gonna fire, and I'm guessing when it does it won't be pretty. Fury told him seriously. Understood, Fury will handle it, Tony said as the team came into the briefing room to hear this exchange. Alright, we don't have a lot of time. Everyone suit up and meet at the Quinjet hangar, Tony told the team. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. Naruto shouted with a grin, excited at going to space. What part? The end of the world or the potential death 'cause Kang hates us? Mostly you. Hank asked. Oh yeah, I'm the reason this is happening. Not because he traveled back in time just to kill Steve or because Tony hacked his tech. No, I'm the reason. Naruto said with an eye roll. You're the one who attacked him and made him angry when we could have figured out what was dash, Hank was saying before Naruto's head slumped as he started to snore loudly. Zzzzzzzzz, sorry, you say something? I nodded off for a second, Naruto asked. Forget it, Hank said, irritated at this. What? He shouldn't blame me for everything, Naruto said as he saw the look Janet was giving him. True, but you mocking him isn't helping either, Janet said with a sigh as they all got ready to suit up in some red and white armored space suits with yellow visors. Am I gonna be able to stretch in this? Naruto asked as he out this on. And will I be able to transform? Akane asked as she too suited up. I accounted for everyone's abilities when I made these suits with some help from Susan Storm and notes from Reed Richards. You will all be able to fight at your full capabilities without any hindrance. Even your hockey attacks, Tony explained. Huh, you're actually starting to impress me, Stark, Akane said as she finished suiting up. That's the nicest thing you've said to me, Kibbles, Tony quipped. For the last time I was curious, you drunk? Akane barked out as her face switched to her wolf mode before they walked to the Quinjet flanked by 6 Ultrons. Who's driving? Janet asked curiously. I mean, I can fly it, Naruto said, volunteering as they approached the Quinjet. Hands in pockets, Daffy, Clint said with a firm tone. Oh come on, I did the virtual flying training Stark sent me, Naruto said with a scoff. You crashed each time trying to land, Tony said flatly. I said I can fly, I didn't say I can land. Naruto pointed out with a smirk. Not happening, I'm driving, Tony told them. Are you sober enough to fly it? Akane asked with her own smirk. Just for that I'm posting that video of you chasing the laser pointer when we get back, Tony said after a moment of thought. Wait, she what? Naruto asked as he and Janet started to snort in laughter. Screw you all. Akane yelled as they boarded the Quinjet for takeoff. Flying out of the ocean with the 6 Ultrons behind them flying after them as they headed toward space. How much time do we have? Steve asked Tony as they flew before a barrage of green lasers came down from the sky and nearly blasted them out of it if not for Tony's evasive maneuvers. Not enough, Tony said as he focused on avoiding incoming fire. What is that? Janet asked as Clint opened a panel to see out a window and saw the lasers pointing at the mansion. It's a targeting beam. Like a laser sight. A really, really big 1-inch Hawkeye explained. And it's aimed at us. Great, Tony said irritated. But we're over the city. A blast that size will destroy everything, Hank said horrified. I don't think Kang cares about collateral damage, Pym. He wants us Jine no matter who pays the price, Clint said with an annoyed tone at the time traveler's tactics. Still think I'm to blame for the megalomaniac time-traveling tyrant's actions? Naruto asked flatly as Thor opened a door. Nay. I will not let him do this, Thor said as he leapt out of the Quinjet before flying ahead of it. Is he crazy? Janet asked wide-eyed as Thor flew on ahead. I've never seen him fly that fast, Tony admitted impressed. What's he planning though? Janet asked. Saving us all, Steve said as Thor spun his hammer charged with massive amounts of lightning and slammed it into the oncoming laser. For Midgard. Thor yelled as he crashed his hammer into the massive beam of plasma and sent it soaring back into space crashing into the Damocles. Big deal, I could do that, I just don't want to, Akane said with a scoff after snapping out of her stunned state at this display of power from the god of thunder. Guys, Naruto said pointing at a smoking Thor falling past them unconscious and not slowing down his descent. He's still falling, we should go back, Janet said worried for the god of thunder after that. We can't, Thor bought us a chance. We have to continue before Kang fires again, Tony said knowing this was their one chance. Ant-Man to Ultrons 1 and 4. Break off and catch Thor, Hank ordered through his helmet as 2 Ultrons broke formation and flew after Thor, catching him before he hit the ground. I hope he's okay, Janet said really worried about him as she gripped Naruto's hand for comfort. Goldilocks is tough. He'll make it, Hulk said with a grin. Ah, you are a softie, huh, big guy? Akane asked smirking with a teasing elbow to the Hulk's side, getting a grumble from the Hulk. Say something, Hank. Is he alive? Tony asked worried about Thor as well, but he couldn't afford to go back and jeopardize their one chance at stopping Kang. The Ultrons have him. He's comatose but alive, Hank informed as the Quinjet entered the black starlit void of space outside Earth's atmosphere. As they flew towards the damaged spaceship, the Damocles opened several vents and released hordes upon hordes of scarab robots as ships firing lasers at the Quinjet and Ultrons. The team tried to remain calm as they avoided the oncoming barrage of laser fire and ships. Only for the Quinjet to shake and shudder from the many near hits. So this seems like it's going bad, Janet said a little nervously. She's not wrong. I don't want a backseat drive or anything, but you might want to consider shooting back, Clint suggested, making Tony click a button as a turret station opened up near Clint. Be my guest, Tony told him as he continued to focus on flying while Clint hopped on the gun and started to fire at the incoming ships. Blasting as many as he could into space dust while the Ultrons helped take out as many of the ships as they could, only for 2 of the drones to be destroyed, leaving 2 left. Only 2 Ultrons left. Hank informed. We're not gonna make it like this, Tony, Steve told their pilot. Agreed. Take the controls, Tony told Steve as he got up from his seat before walking over to the seat with Naruto and Janet. Let's go, Tony said looking at Janet. You talking to Hulk, Akane, or Naruto? Janet asked, gesturing to the 3 other heroes near her. No, you. We don't have much time. Tony told her as she immediately followed. Good luck, babe. You got this, Naruto told her with a smile as she followed Tony outside into the black void of space to help destroy some of the scarab drones. So they could clear a path for the Quinjet to make it to the Damocles. DMN, that's hot, Naruto said watching Janet blast the hell out of some scarabs with her stingers. Gotta say I'm surprised she's actually stepping up. I had her pegged as wussing out at this point, Akane said as she watched this. I know you don't like her as much as some of the other women we've met like Elektra or Laura, but I feel like you should know better than to think Janet's a quitter. She's stronger than you realize, sis. Naruto said with a smile. And maybe you're right, you think Ajisen will let her have a fruit if I give her approval? Akane asked with a slight grin. Who knows, he HWS to make more, but I'd say if anyone should get one it's her, Naruto said with a smile. Oh come on. I have been asking for months. Clint yelled as he continued to fire at the enemy outside. We can discuss this more another time. Clint, do you see a place to land this bird? Steve asked the archer. I see an airlock. But I don't think they'll just open the door for us, Hank said as Clint scanned over some schematics of the Damocles. What if we knock? Say we're selling Girl Scout cookies. Everyone always opens up for Girl Scout cookies, Naruto suggested with a snicker. Would you please take this seriously? Hank asked annoyed. Okay, I'll knock, Naruto said as he stood up and put his thumb in his mouth as he approached the door. Oh geez, I almost feel bad for that ship, Clint said. Inside the Damocles. Inside a hallway of Kang's ship, several of his men were heading into the airlock area to provide extra support in case the Avengers somehow hacked the door, but as the last of them arrived. Crash. A giant hockey-coated fist smashed through the airlock doors as the vacuum of space pulled every single one of those screaming guards out of the ship and into space, while Naruto and the Quinjet landed inside before the ship sealed itself up, preventing Tony and Janet from joining them. I think you just killed those guys, brother, Akane said as she got out of the ship along with the rest of the team and the Ultrons remaining. If anyone asks, it was Tony, Naruto said quickly as he jumped out after them in his little form. Screw you, Whiskers. Looks like we'll need to find another way around. A force field sealed away the breach, Tony said. Hang on, we'll find a way to open it, Hank told him. No, stick to the plan. Jan and I will be fine. Tony said. She better be. If anything happens to her, I'm gonna pour your entire liquor cabinet down the drain, Naruto said with a firm tone. I would take you more seriously if you weren't the size of a child, Tony said as he flew away from the force field. I'll be fine, sweetie. Don't worry, Janet said as she followed after Tony. She'll be fine, son, Steve told Naruto as they all started towards one of the giant metal doors. Hey, wait for me. I need a few minutes, DMN it. Naruto yelled as he struggled to keep up thanks to his small size. So what now? Hank asked, seeing many doors out of the room. We take down Kang, Steve said simply. That's right, I forgot. Violence first, Hank said with some irritation. You want to try talking to Kang and have a civil conversation, go ahead. Let me know how that goes, Akane said with a scoff before a blur suddenly slammed into Clint and sent him crashing into the wall before it then slammed into Steve doing the same. The group looked at the top of the Quinjet and saw 3 armored figures. One with black light armor wielding a sword. One with green armor holding a gun. And a large figure in purple armor with spikes on it. This was Kang's elite guard team. Kang the Conqueror welcomes you to Damocles base. It will be your tomb, one of the elite guards stated as he leveled his gun at the Avengers. So cliché lines are still being used in the future. How frightening, Naruto said with an eye roll. The Avengers had a midget, one of the elite guards asked. You know, just for that I'm gonna do the most diabolical thing I can to make you suffer. Akane go wild, Naruto said with a grin. Akane smiled madly as she switched to her divine wolf hybrid form and started to spark with electricity before she raised her mace and jumped at the elite guards with a shout. The elite guard have the ability to move faster than the eye can perceive, so against most foes they would be able to overwhelm them with in essence super speed. Unfortunately for them, their foe was Akane, who has future sight. As Akane slammed her mace on the ground, one of the guards ran at her, but she quickly jammed her claw behind her, jamming it into the guard's gut, stopping him. What? The guard with spiked armor asked in shock. You may have speed, but you're predictable as, Akane said with a sneer before she electrocuted the guard, knocking him out. The guard with a sword had finished cutting down one of the Ultron drones, however the moment he was done Akane was on him, biting into his neck and slamming him into the ground. What is this foul creature? The sword-wielding guard yelled in shock and agony. The name is Okami. Now scream for me, you little bee. Akane said before chomping her mouth down even harder on his neck. Okami? That wasn't just a piece of folklore, the gun-wielding guard asked in shock as Naruto approached behind him, now back to his normal size. Nope. And if you think she's bad, tell me, have you ever heard of Joy Boy? Or perhaps Nika? Naruto asked with a savage grin. That sun god. What does he have to do with this? The gun-wielding guard asked, turning his gun on Naruto. Oh, nothing. Don't worry about it. By the way, Okami's right behind you, Naruto said, smirking as the gun-wielding guard paused and turned around to see Akane in her full wolf form and blood dripping from her mouth standing behind him, growling loudly. Mercy? The gun guard asked. If you give us information, I may be able to call them off, Steve offered as the rest of the Avengers surrounded him. The guard weighed his options. Okami was clearly not a folktale and far beyond his capabilities, it seemed, so his best option was compliance. Besides, he was confident Kang could deal with them. The guard handed Naruto an electronic device. This has the Damocles inner schematics. Now you'll let me go, right? The guard asked as now they had a way to navigate to where they needed to go. Sure, we can let you go. After a nice long nap, Naruto said with a grin before Akane slammed the guard with her claw into wall, knocking him out. Was that really necessary? Hank asked Akane, and Naruto a bit irritated at them taking down the guard after promising mercy. Would you rather he tattle to Kang and stop our job? Akane asked, irritated herself. Enough, we shouldn't bicker amongst ourselves. We need to stop Kang, Steve ordered them. With Tony and Janet. While the rest of the Avengers were making their way through the Damocles, Janet and Tony were currently hiding from the Scarab drone's sight behind one of the Damocles' fins as they continued searching for a way into the ship. Tony looked down on the ship and saw a grate with two handles and tried to pull it up. The grate, however, wouldn't budge. DMN. I could try my uni-beam, Tony thought as he tried to quickly think of a way to get inside. Or we pretend to be Girl Scouts. Everyone opens the door for Girl Scouts, Janet said, smirking. You've been spending way too much time with Naruto-Jan, Tony said with an annoyed tone. Just saying, Janet said, still grinning. You know, instead of being snarky like your boyfriend, you could help me, Tony suggested. Okay, you want help? Fine, Janet told him before Janet flew away towards 3 Scarab drones. What the hell? Tony asked, confused on what she was doing before seeing her stop in front of the drones and wave at them saying hi. Great, now she's gone crazy. Did Whisker's Gear 5 insanity transfer to her? Tony questioned, baffled, before Janet flew back towards him. Incoming. Janet yelled as Tony saw the 3 drones chasing after her, and he dodged their laser fire before watching as all 3 crashed into the hull of the ship, making a massive hole for him and Janet to go through. Come on Tony, we can go in now, Janet said with a giggle as she flew inside. I think I now get how her and Whiskers are a thing. They're both crazy, Tony muttered before following after her. With Naruto. As Naruto and continued on their way to find the ship's time drive as per Hank's suggestion, Naruto suddenly paused in his movements. You good, son? Steve asked, seeing Naruto stop. I feel like I just missed Janet doing something awesome, Naruto said with a grin. Focus, we need to get to the time drive so we can end this madness and send Kang's forces back to their time, Hank told him as they followed Ultron through the ship. That toy is useful, Hulk grunted out, since they gave Ultron the info for Kang's ship courtesy of the guard Naruto threatened. Creepy looking though, Clint said. It's not a toy and it's not creepy. It's designed to look like an ant's head, Hank told them as they continued onward. Whatever you say, Pim, Clint told him. I still don't like that thing, Akane muttered from next to Naruto. Knowing that robot was a hive mind and AI made it seem like it was one day away from going all psycho crazy on them. Me either, but it's his invention. And it's proving useful right now. Naruto told her. Spare me the lecture, brother, you don't trust it either and you know it, Akane told him with an eye roll. Silence was all that she was met with. All but confirming to her how her brother felt the same about the Ultron unit. Regardless of this topic, it didn't take long for the group to find the time drive. Which was massive, stretching as a yellow energy-filled tube for miles. DMN, that's big, Clint said, impressed by the size. There's plenty of bigger things, Naruto said as he shrugged a bit. I don't know, I think the old man may want to take a look at this, Akane responded. I don't care how big it is, I'm gonna smash it. Hulk yelled as he charged the time drive and tackled it, only for the time drive to send him flying into the wall as the security system engaged, sending electricity down on the Avengers. SHT. Naruto yelled, sending a hockey-coated fist into the device, creating electricity, and destroyed it as scarab drones came piling into the room. One of them swatting Hank into the wall and knocking him out from the blow as the other Avengers attacked the scarabs. Hey, he was mine to knock out. Akane yelled as she slammed her hockey-covered mace into the scarab that attacked Hank and destroyed it. That's what you're concerned about? Naruto asked his sister as he sent a hockey-coated boot into a scarab's face and destroyed it, while Hulk threw a scarab into 3 others. Hawkeye sent explosive arrows into scarabs and destroyed them, while Steve's shield cut through the other ones. There's no end to these things, Clint said. Ant-Man, we need you. Steve called out as he tried to shake Hank awake. I think he's out, but try slapping him awake, Akane suggested. Focus. We need to shut down the computer systems. Or maybe we can reprogram the thing, Clint said as the Avengers were starting to get surrounded by the scarabs as more and more came from the ceiling. DMN it. Guess I've got no choice, Naruto said as he turned his arm black with hockey, prepared to go all bounce man and destroy these things. Enough, the voice of Kang cut through, halting the scarab's attack as he made his way towards the Avengers and flew towards them while the scarabs backed away. You came to fight me, Avengers? Here I am, Kang declared, looking down on them. You know what, I'm glad Cap's gonna wipe out your timeline, Clint said, getting a hurt look from Steve, because any future ruled by you has to SCK, Clint finished saying before firing an explosive arrow at Kang, who telekinetically caught it and sent it back at Clint, sending him crashing to the floor unconscious. Hulk roared in fury as he leapt at Kang, only for a green shield to appear around the Conqueror and send the Hulk flying back. Ultron shot a red laser at Kang, who deflected it easily enough, while Steve threw his shield at Kang, who effortlessly dodged it before flying toward Hulk and sending him flying with a green energy-coated punch, knocking out the green giant. Time to end this, Captain America, Kang declared before Naruto stepped in front of Steve. You want Steve, you go through me, as Naruto said as he blocked Kang's way while his chest started to beat loudly. Kang's eyes narrowed as his scanners warned him of this, just as Naruto entered Gear 5 once more, smiling as he shot at Kang like a bullet to slug him hard in the face. Or he would have if not for a large green barrier to spring up around Kang protectively and block the punch. Naruto questioned, surprised his punch was blocked. Did you really think I would not adapt after your attacks on me last time, Joy Boy? Did you expect me to just let you get in a free hit like last time? Kang questioned with a monotone voice. You know, considering how much of an idiot I take you for. Yes. Yes, I did, Naruto said with a snicker. How amusing. Regardless, you will die here and now alongside your allies. The earth will fall under my rule and thrive. Die knowing that your deaths serve a purpose, Kang said before waving his hands and sending bits of metal from the destroyed scarabs still around them at Naruto to try and pierce him from multiple directions. Naruto, seeing this, leapt onto the floor and bounced off the now rubbery surface to dodge the incoming metal, only for Kang to wave his hands and change the direction of the sharpened metal to follow after Naruto. I am MSTR of all technology. I possess true power far beyond anything you fools can dream of. And yet your best hope of beating me is to send the laughing fool. Truly the Avengers were desperate to let you into their ranks, boy, Kang said as Naruto continued to dodge his attacks, only for Kang to grunt as Akane suddenly leapt from behind him and smashed her mace-coated in armament hockey into him, sending the Conqueror crashing into the wall and making him lose his concentration on the metal, chasing Naruto. Oi, my brother may be an idiot, but you can't write us all off just because of how he acts. Akane growled out as she sent another mace attack at Kang before his barrier sprang up again blocking her attack. Stay down Mutt, Kang told her before waving his hand and sending her telekinetically flying before she could use another armament hockey-coated strike this time. Hands off my sister as. Naruto yelled as he bounced off the wall and flew at Kang with his fist outstretched and sparking with red and black lightning. His fist coated in Conqueror's hockey. This again. How pathetic. Your power cannot destroy my bari dash, Kang was saying before Naruto's fist connected to the barrier. Boom! A thunderous boom echoed through the hall as the barrier broke like shattered glass from Naruto's fist. Conqueror's coating hurts him. Akane questioned as she pried herself from the wall she was sent into before looking at the time drive. I wonder, Akane smirked as she made her way towards the drive. Impossible. You couldn't have broken my barrier. You primitive savages cannot best the Conqueror. I will not fall this day to Y-, Kang was saying before Naruto disappeared from sight. Kang was sent flying forwards from a punch to the back of the head before he felt another punch sending him flying back. Then another. And another. Naruto after each punch was using his speed to get behind Kang and hit him again. Over and over again this repeated as he used his speed to bounce Kang between himself rapidly before with a loud laugh Naruto slugged him into a wall sending him through it. I will not be beaten by you again, Joy Boy. Kang declared as he got up from the hit and came back through the hole his armor damaged and bringing out a sword and axe to fight with this time. Ha 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 ha. You think I'm the only one to worry about Blue Boy? Naruto asked laughing as he landed on the ground and bounced on the RBB surface. Back off as or I'll send your sorry as back to your time to die, Akane growled as she held her sparking mace to the time drive. You will not be able to scratch that device girl, Kang declared as he glared at the youngest Uzumaki. Akane raised an eyebrow at this before she coated the mace in Conqueror's hockey and made her lightning turn red. How about now? Akane asked smugly. Get way from there. Kang yelled as he flew at Akane only for Naruto to send him flying back with a dropkick before he then after him. Oh, someone is scared. Naruto yelled with a laugh as he wrapped himself around Kang and held him down. No. You fools would doom humanity to extinction. I must make sure my timeline survives. Kang declared as he struggled to escape Naruto's grip. Did you consider trying to work with us? Naruto asked curiously as he kept his grip on Kang. He's right, Kang. We can work together to save lives. We both want the same thing, Steve offered. No. You are part of the problem. Not the solution. Conquest is the only solution. Kang yelled as he continued to struggle against Naruto. Oh my god, does every would-be conqueror go to the same monologue, coach? Akane asked, annoyed. Screw this, I'm destroying your timeline B. Akane yelled as she made to slam her mace into the time drive. Stop. Janet yelled as she flew into the area accompanied by some of Kang's guards. Janet? What the hell? Tony asked as he flew in from a different room seeing this. You can't destroy the time drive. If you do, Princess Ravana will die. Janet declared as everyone looked at her. Who the hell is Ravana and why should I care? Akane asked, still fully ready to decimate the ship. Shoot her, do it. Kang yelled at his guards with her. Hurt her and I'll make sure you all suffer fates worse than death, Naruto warned with a glare as the guards ignored Kang's orders. Maybe from fear of Naruto or maybe from intelligence. Who could say? Ravana is the woman Kang loves. When his future got wiped out she got caught in it. They're keeping her alive but barely. If Damocles' base travels back to the future, she'll be erased from existence. This got silence from the team as they all looked at each other. Kang, we can stop this. We can find a way to save Ravana, Janet told the restrained conqueror as Naruto kept him tied up. Yeah, I mean we can ask the old man for help. And Susan. And maybe Hank when he wakes up. And Tony there when he's not drunk. Naruto pointed out. I hate you Whiskers, Tony groaned out annoyed at the jab. Love you too old man. Listen to her Kong, we can help you. But we won't let you take over our world to do it. Surrender. This is your last chance, Naruto told Kong, who had been silent for the most part since Janet entered and explained everything. Never. Enough. Of this. Kill them all now dash, Kong was yelling before Akane smashed her mace into his face, sending him and Naruto spiraling into the ground, knocking the would-be conqueror out. Nice swing kid, Tony said to Akane as his scanner told him Kong was knocked out, sending him and Naruto flying from the strike. Anyone else want to pull a stupid move? Hulk asked with a growl as he crossed his arms and glared at Kang's men, who looked at each other and threw down their weapons in surrender. Ugh, a little warning before you suckered punched the guy, I'm restricting next time please. Naruto said with a groan as he stood up after turning back to normal. You're made of RBB brother. You and I both know bludgeoning has no effect on you, Akane said with an eye roll. That was coated with Conqueror's hockey, that SHT still hurts. Naruto yelled out. Good to know, Akane said with a smirk hearing this. So what now? We got the base down, but what about the other ships around the world? Steve asked, knowing Kang's forces were still attacking even if Kong himself was taken down. Ultron, hack into the time drive and send them away. But keep the Damocles, Tony ordered. Since Hank was still unconscious, Ultron would respond to him. Acknowledged, Ultron said as he went over to the time drive. Within minutes the bot was sending every ship on Earth back to their timeline. Well, that was fun. We saved the world. I'm tired and hungry. Anyone else? I'm thinking shawarma, Naruto suggested, leaning on Janet for support since Gear 5 took a toll. Later. Let's get back to Earth for now and check on things, Tony said as he shook his head as they all moved to leave. New York hours later. S.H.I.E.L.D. was trying to clean up the remnants of the invasion while also setting up the Damocles as their new base above Earth's atmosphere once Kong and his soldiers were rounded up. Naruto and Janet were currently in the hospital alongside a paramedic named Jane Foster, waiting to see if Thor would awaken from his coma. Within moments the God of Thunder's eyes opened. What happened? Did we find victory in battle? Thor asked as he slowly got up. Easy there, Point Break. You took a big hit and have been out for a few hours. We weren't sure when you'd wake up, Naruto told him. My injuries matter little. Did Kong suffer defeat? Thor asked. Relax, we beat him. He's in the negative zone prison, Janet told him. Good. Then the day is won. Thor said with a smile. Yeah, there's a lot of rebuilding, but you Avengers saved everyone, Jane Foster said with a smile at the God of Thunder. Yeah, thankfully the old man's pacifistas are also good at helping with rebuilding too, Naruto said with a grin as he saw some of said robots fly by the open window. They are. Truly Sarutobi is a genius beyond compare, Thor said with a smile at that tidbit. Yup. By the way, when were you gonna introduce your girlfriend here to the team? Janet asked before Naruto grabbed her and pulled her away. Ignore her, we'll leave you two kids alone, Naruto said as he dragged Janet out of the room, leaving the two left inside the room blushing at the insinuation. Oh come on. I was just gonna tease them a little, Janet said with a pout at Naruto. Sorry, but I don't think it's a good idea to make fun of the giant bug zapper with a hammer about his love life, Naruto told his girlfriend with a grin. Fine, Janet said as she crossed her arms and pouted. Oh stop, how about I take you out to dinner at your choice of restaurant? Naruto offered. Any restaurant you say? Janet asked with a grin. Of course. Whatever my lady desires, Naruto said as he held out his arm to her. Such a gentleman. Come on, I have a place in mind. Let's go before your Asgardian stalker shows up trying to steal you away, Janet said with a frown as she entwined her arm with his. You worry too much. What are the odds of that happening? Naruto asked with an eye roll. Beloved. I was told you're in this building. Where are you? The unmistakable voice of Yamura was heard yelling. Run away. Naruto yelled as he scooped Janet into his arms before he booked it towards the emergency exit. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 8. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author KFB Anime 87 on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.